welcome back to my homeschool channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a look inside First Language Lessons and telling you why I love this curriculum so much. First Language Lessons is a grammar curriculum created by Jessie Wise. It follows the classical approach to learning, which includes recitation, repetition, and memorization, but it also can appeal to Charlotte Mason leaning homeschoolers as well because it includes picture studies and dictations and poetry. I think that's why it works so well for our family, because if I had to describe our homeschooling style, it would be a mix of classical and Charlotte Mason. We kind of pull things from both of those methods of learning. First Language Lessons is a grammar curriculum that goes through 4 levels. It starts in 1st grade and ends in 4th grade. I used it with my oldest daughter in 1st and 2nd grade to supplement her phonics program. We were doing phonics through Rebecca, but I had seen this book and had actually gotten it as a hand-me-down from my mom, who is an OG homeschooler from the 90s, and I loved what was inside of it, so I really wanted to use it alongside my 1st graders Rebecca program. It even says inside this book that you should supplement with a phonics and penmanship program because they do not provide the phonics in this book. So I used it with her in 1st and 2nd grade, but then I took a break from it in 3rd grade because we were still using Rebecca, and I felt like her language arts program through Rebecca was pretty full, and so I didn't want to add to her school load. But I think that we're going to be migrating back to it for 4th grade. We're taking a break from Rebecca in 4th grade, I think, and so I'm going to be bringing back First Language Lessons using their last level 4 with possibly something else for her. But anyways, my second daughter is going to be in 1st grade this coming fall, and so I'm bringing out the blue book and I'm going to be using level 1 with her, and I'm really excited for it. Now the book I have that looks like this includes level 1 and level 2, or 1st grade and 2nd grade, but it doesn't come in this format anymore. Instead, it comes in a book that looks more like this. They come in those separate workbook styles, so you would have a level 1 book and then a level 2 book, but the content inside of them is still pretty much the same. So I'm going to show you what's inside of this book because I know that's what you're actually watching it for, to see what it actually looks like inside and what the lessons look like. And then after I show you what's inside, I'll give you some pros and some cons. You can see that in 1st grade, they start off with introducing nouns and they spend a long time learning about nouns. So this book really uses a mastery approach to learning. They really want the child to understand what they're learning before moving on to the next thing. As they go through the year, they start learning about pronouns, they start learning about abbreviations, how to use initials, and then ending with introducing the sentence types at the end of their 1st grade year. When they move into 2nd grade, they'll review some of the things they learned in the 1st level, and then they will move on to learning about how to use commas, introducing adjectives and predicate adjectives. And then by the end of their 2nd grade year, they are forming paragraphs and learning how to write short compositions. All throughout 1st and 2nd grade, they're doing poem memorization, they're doing picture studies, and they are doing copywork and story narration exercises. Each lesson is fairly short. The first lesson, you can see, doesn't even take up a whole page. They do get longer as the book progresses to sometimes front and back, but there isn't a lesson that's more than 1 full page front and back. That's the longest, a full page front and back. You can see that each lesson comes with the title of the lesson, so it gives you a good idea of what you're going to be working on that day. So for example, this one is going to be working on proper nouns and then full names. So it kind of has subcategories of the noun lessons, and then it tells you what you will need. One thing that I like about the lessons here is that they are scripted. So it tells you right here, instructor, say, can you say the definition of a noun for me? And then it says, student says the definition of a noun. Another example of what the instructor's to say. First names and middle names are special given names to children, and last names are family names. All of these names are proper nouns. And then it has you go on to have your child write out their full name. I love it that it is so short and sweet. It is not frustrating for your child. Not every lesson requires them to write something. In fact, a lot of times, since I'm using it as a supplement, I don't require them to write something. I love how it is, especially for the 1st grade level, very oral driven. So it requires a lot of the students to repeat things back to you as you're asking them, but it doesn't require them to do a lot of writing in the first grade level. I think that's great because they're doing a lot of writing in other areas of school, and writing is still a hard motor skill for first graders. The book also includes picture studies, which were really fun. This was something new to me when I did it with my oldest daughter in first grade a couple of years ago, and we really enjoyed the picture studies in this book. She was always happy when we would open up the lesson and it would be a picture study day. If you're not familiar with picture studies, it's just teaching your child how to observe something and look at details. And so for this one, for example, it's a boy petting a puppy. And so you ask questions like, look at all the animals in this photo. Do you like animals? Do you think the boy in the picture likes animals? Look at his face. Is he smiling? Is he scared? What kind of emotions do you think he has? It also will have you point out some nouns in the picture because you've been learning about nouns. And so it might have you point out the bird or the fish or the boy or the box or the puppy, because nouns are persons, places, and things. And then it has you talk about how those are common nouns, and if you wanted to give a proper noun to those things, or what proper noun would you give to the bird or the puppy. And so this is fun for the child to look at the picture and engage with the picture. And I think it's a great way for kids to get their imaginations going and to also get some foundations of art appreciation. I think that including the picture studies in this book helps this curriculum appeal to more creative thinkers as well as the more analytical thinkers. So the memorization and the recitation can really appeal to those right-brained kids, where the picture studies, which really spark their imagination and creativity and ask them to describe this to you and describe the feelings and things in this picture, can really appeal to those left-brain kids. Some lessons work on story narration, so you will read a short story to your child and then you'll ask them questions at the end of the lesson, which helps them learn how to summarize a story. Towards the end of the year, if they're writing well and can write in sentences, then you might require them to write down their own summary. But for my kids, I often will just have them orally give me a summary of the story. Some of the lessons are a little bit more interactive. Some of the lessons that are talking about the names of the seasons have the child draw some pictures of things that happen in the winter or the spring, the summer, and the fall, or cut out pictures from magazines or newspapers and make a collage of those things. Some other enrichment activities that they have are illustrating portions of the poems that they've been memorizing. So it's not all just copywork and memorization and recitation. There are some fun little tidbits in there that you can have your child do if you feel like you want to add a little something to the lesson. There is an enrichment activity that goes along with each lesson. Some of them are more interactive and fun than others. Sometimes I would choose to do them or have my child do them, and sometimes we would just not worry about it. Here's an example of one of the poems that they are to memorize towards the end of their first grade year. So it's a little bit longer. It has 3 stanzas. The first poem that they're to memorize is really cute. It's one of our favorites. It's this one right here, The Caterpillar. It only has 2 stanzas, and it's a perfect one to start off your kids with poem memorizations. The top reason I like this book is because it is super easy to use. You open it up, it has a scripted lesson for you. It tells you exactly what to say, and it doesn't require any prep work ahead of time. It focuses a lot on oral recitation for your first graders. So if your kid is struggling with writing or gets frustrated easily with writing, this doesn't require a lot of that work. It just requires them to recite things back to you out of the lesson. This works especially well for us because my kids do a lot of copy work in their science and history notebooks. And so sometimes by the time my second daughter comes around to doing her grammar or phonics lessons, she is done with writing and she doesn't want to write anymore. So this will work great with her for first grade because she will just have to repeat back to me the things from this lesson and she won't have to worry about writing too much. The third reason I love this is because even though it requires a lot of memorization, it tries to make the memorization fun. Each list of nouns or pronouns or helping verbs that the kids have to memorize comes along with chants or claps to help the students stay engaged and aid in their memorization. Some of the cons of this book is that it is not a complete language arts curriculum. It's just a grammar curriculum. So for first and second grade, you're still going to need to find something that works on phonics and spelling and reading. Another con of this book is that it isn't flashy. It doesn't have any colorful work pages to go along with it. It's just a book that the teacher reads from, and then it does require that the student have a blank line notebook for them to do writing in. As I mentioned before, I use this book as a supplement with the Abeka phonics program that we do, so I don't require my kids to keep a notebook for this book. They do all of their writing and dictation and copy work through the Abeka program. We keep these lessons very oral focused, which helps to keep them short and sweet. This review focused only on the 1st and 2nd grade levels that come in this book because those are the only ones that I've personally used. I'm going to be flipping through the 4th grade level in a couple of weeks as I prepare for our next school year, since I'll be using it with my 4th grader this coming fall. And I hope to give you guys a peek inside of that in case that helps you plan for your coming 2023-2024 school year. And if you're interested in purchasing, I'll link the website down below. Another good thing about this curriculum is that they are super well priced. So you can get the level 1 book brand new paperback from their website for about $14, or you can do a PDF download for around $11. They also sometimes have used options. If you've used First Language Lessons before, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Please let me know what you thought of the curriculum, or let me know if you have any questions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more homeschool content. Thanks, have a nice day.